Do you think Kale is a good captain of the guard?
No.
He's terrible.
Dorian is really wise. You know?
Hi, I'm Abby.
And I'm Tori.
And today we'll be doing a book review of
Heir.
Hey, that was nice. That was nice. Okay, so what a book.
Yeah.
What a book.
Overall, just before we get into like spoiler specific, overall impression, rating, thoughts, without getting into specifics.
Without getting into the specifics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoiler review free, spoiler free review first.
I don't even know how to not spoil this book.
Be like, it was boring. I love this book.
This book was amazing. You were right.
Yes, this is when the story really starts. I love it. Character's great. I would give it a 4 out of 5.
I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. And I'm not saying that to be thingy. It's because, again, I would not recommend this book after reading a Brandon Sanderson book when things have gotten super intense. Yeah. Because then I've seen a lot of mind-blowing things. So it's like, this is mind-blowing, but I'm not, I know it could get even better.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why. So I feel like, should I do? Yeah, 3.5.
That's a good rating.
3.5 is what I would give this book.
Okay, so
but
now
it was.
Let's get into the specifics.
You know, screw it. Wait. There's some scenes that I really love that I would give like a 5. And the reason I'm gonna give it a 3.5 is because.
Oh wow, you really didn't even notice you tabbed it.
I tabbed this book. All of the good stuff for me really happened in the second half of the book. So the first half was
still setting up, yeah.
It was still setting it up. That's why I won't give it the 4. Part 2, 4 out of 5, without question. The first part, I remember reading it and thinking, this is what Tori said is going to redeem book 1 and 2?
Which is why you're like, oh, when you finish, you're like, oh, you finished it. I was like, well, I skimmed some parts because I was like, I know what happens. And I was like, not really interested in it. So I'm going to skim to get to the second half of the book.
Well, yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I understand that now. And that's why it's a 3.5 for me.
Yes.
That was spoiler free.
Okay, let's get into it.
And I have a game for you today too, a different one.
I love that. I should have planned something. I'm telling you, this week though, I was so dead this week. I didn't plan anything.
You get next time. Okay. I literally wrote on here, first of all, wow, what a read.
I love that.
Wow. Okay, so first, before we even get into like the specifics, we're gonna talk about like favorite scenes, least favorite moments, favorite quotes, favorite characters, least favorite characters, things I'd want her to explore more, my predictions for the next book, and the game. So before we get into that, I want to say I gotta clear the air from the last couple podcasts. I was wrong about Nehemia and Dorian getting together, and okay, Dorian, you shook your head a little too eagerly there a while ago, but I didn't mention the parts that I did get right.
Yes, you did get, but I don't remember what it was, but I do remember saying, oh yeah, she got that right, and let me not miss anything.
I wrote it down because I saw like the editing of her last podcast. I was right about someone died. I said either Nehemia, Dorian, or Kale was going to die.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. And I was right. Nehemia died. And I said that the king was raising an army of the dead. I didn't know the specifics, but he is. And proof is on page 505.
I'm pulling out the receipts.
Where is it? Page 505.
They're not really dead, but...
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I have my receipts. He could have an army of the dead inhabited by the Valg.
He could have an army.
That's that lawyer in you.
Yeah. Could is not the same as does. But yes. Like, I don't even remember now the statistics, but yeah, maybe some of them are dead. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. I know he can use live bodies, but he can also use dead people. Yeah. An army, as it went on to say, that doesn't need to eat, sleep, whatever. The same rhetoric of army of the dead.
Yeah.
Okay, then I was right about in this book, because in this now is from the last book. Yeah. Last book I predicted that Dorian and Kale would have like an enemies to friendship arc, like trope, but I was wrong about the extent of it.
Yeah, they're not really enemies. It's more like we're just not really friends anymore.
Yeah. But I was still right that she was gonna fall she was gonna do that. Yeah, I think that was it. I'm looking at last week. What else did I say? Oh, I will say what I was wrong about. I said last book that Selena would find a word key in Gwendolyn. She did not. She did not find any word key in this book at all. No, she figured out where it is, but she didn't find. Yeah, I was wrong about that. And yeah, that was it. Do you remember anything that I was saying at the time, and you were like thinking to yourself, "She's so freaking wrong," or "She's so right"? I can't say anything.
Yes, but I can't even remember.
I'm gonna start having you rewatch the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right, then let's get into favorite scenes. Before I talk about my favorite scenes, what are your favorite scenes?
I really should have written stuff down. I mean, I have like a favorite quote. I guess this kind of goes with a favorite scene, which let me pull. Which is what I had texted you during the week, and you're like, "Oh, write it down." Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before, like why I don't like Kale. And this is Dorian when like him and Kale are having a discussion about like Selena Aylin, and Dorian says like you cannot pick and choose what parts of her to love. I was like, love that. And then later he goes on, he says, you do not have the right to choose that she were not what she is. The only thing you have a right to decide is whether you are her enemy or her friend. I also really like that. So I just like, I love that whole scene, that whole conversation. Like, Dorian is really wise. You know?
He's a wise king.
Yeah, and he's such a good friend. He's like, you've always known what she is. Why are you so surprised? Like, you can't pick and choose what parts of her. Either you accept her or you don't. So either you're her enemy or you're her friend. And then he's like, oh, and I hope. What did he say? Hold on. Yeah, he's like, I've already made my decision about her, and when the time comes, regardless of whether you're here or in Aniel, how you pronounce that, I hope your choice is the same as mine.
I do remember that scene, and I remember thinking, this reinforces what you said last time, which is that Kale is always surprised. She's an assassin, but she kills.
Oh my god, wow, who would have thought she actually does her job?
Right. So then when Dorian called him out on it, I was like, right.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
So I love that scene. Let me think of other ones. I love some scenes with like how do you pronounce her name? I think it's supposed to be Manon.
Manon.
But when I had first read it, I always thought Manon.
No, to be honest, that's how I pronounced it. That's how I pronounced it too. But I was thinking Manon. It was just my Jamaican accent, Manon.
Which is like the French. Like I know like it's a French name, or at least like I know some French people that Manon.
Manon.
So
do you remember what scenes with her? I have it written down.
Well, I love her relationship with her dragon Wyron. Abraxas. Yes. She's just so badass. Can't think of anything else.
It's okay. I wrote stuff down, so maybe some of my favorite scenes will be some of your favorite scenes. So, favorite scenes. I have the Abraxas scenes, which is what you were just talking about.
He reminds me of Toothless. That's like my favorite animated movie. I have two favorite animated movies. Your Name, which is the anime, and How to Train Your Dragon series. You should rewatch them.
I'm sorry. I feel like, how many are there?
3.
I think I watched one.
The second one's my favorite. The animation is beautiful. And the soundtrack for all 3 movies, my favorite. She needs to rewatch it.
I can't even remember if I did.
That's sad to me. That's very sad.
That just broke your heart.
Yes. I literally have a Toothless pillow pet that Leslie got me for Christmas 2 years ago.
Well, now I know what to gift you. Yeah. Toothless stuff.
Okay, so you really like Abraxas, or how you pronounce it?
And I have like the scenes that I liked. I loved the introduction of this character as this underdog beast in the corner. And I felt so bad for him. And I was like, oh no. Yes. I didn't realize they were going to save it, right? He is a cat. I literally have it here. Abraxas the cat.
I said cutie, but yes, he's like a cat.
He is like a big cat. But they're called what?
Wyrens.
Wyrens, yeah. It's like what dragon? I couldn't figure out what they are.
It's like a type of dragon. In like fantasy books, you either have a dragon or you have Wyrens.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a type of dragon. But yeah, about the cat thing, another scene I don't know if you have like I think it's in this book where he's like just smelling the flowers, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Yes, I have that scene written down. He was smelling the flowers. He would refuse to move when it was time to like jump over the cliff. She'd give him the goat leg, and he'd just be like,
he's like, "You're gonna feed me that?" But see, he's smart because all the other meat was tainted or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that's true. Like this is all really bad for us, so we're not gonna eat it."
And then she went and caught him a goat.
Yeah.
And he just watched her as she fell off the mountain cliff trying to get her a goat.
He was like, "This is entertaining."
Right? And just smelled some flowers.
Yeah.
I really love him. He's like, I love that contradiction between him being able to kill like really easily, and then he's just a pet cat. He's just a cat.
Yes. I love their whole relationship because she's like this like killer all stuff, I'm so tough or whatever, and he's like, oh, I'm tough too, but I have this very soft like, and for a character who doesn't like speak, he has a lot of personality.
He does. That is so true. That is so true. And I love that him being badass but still having that soft spot is causing her to do some reflection.
Yes, it really has influenced her and her character already for such a short period of time.
Yep. And I love. So all of those scenes are written down on their pages. Like all of up here, all the green up here is, I think, just Abraxas.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh yes, I'm a nerd out. I color coded it. Green meant I liked it. Red mean I hated it.
Oh.
Blue meant I was right. I predicted it. Yellow is like for little quotes and stuff that I liked.
Just so organized.
Yes. Hire me as an intern. Okay. The other thing that I liked was the Orchestra Rebels on page 420.
Oh, I did. Yes, because you had told me you liked it about the first book, about the second book as well. And I was like, oh, it happened again. Yes, actually, I meant to write that down because I was just saying it was after the revolt.
Yeah, after the revolt and the king
killed literally everybody.
Genocide. Pretty much genocide.
And so they made a stand, and they were killed for it.
Yes, I liked this line. After they played singing like a bunch of like songs about magic and about like the different people who had been killed.
They sing like not like the national anthem, but something like the national song of the people of like where Nehemiah is from, Elia.
And their slaves in
Calcola.
Yeah, all of that. And in the mine camps or whatever. So they do that, and it was beautifully done. And then it was then the last two lines of the sentence. This scene is the next morning by royal decree, the theater was shut down. No one saw those musicians or their conductor again, and I wasn't supposed to laugh, but I was like, "Damn, you sing two songs, you did."
Yeah, gotta be careful what you sing.
I really love that. And then when I read it, I was thinking about what you said, which is about how the role music plays in this book for Selena. And then I was thinking about how the role music plays in the entire book for people to use it as a form of rebellion and how important it is to them. So I liked that. I liked this scene. I called it the revelation. It was on page 510 for those of you with your book out and you want to just go reread it quickly. It was the revelation about Maeve, Brandon, and Athril. Do you remember that revelation?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you remember. Do you remember why?
That it was thought that they were like right. Okay, now I'm trying to remember. It's thought they were lovers, but actually he was trying to hide from her to make sure that she never got something. And
the word keys.
Yeah.
But no, they were actually lovers, but she was planning on betraying them.
Yeah.
To get the keys.
So which is why she never got the ring and he left her and was trying to hide from her.
No, he killed her.
She killed him.
Yes.
Yeah, so okay, right.
She killed him, and then Brandon hid the sword and the ring in the cave.
Yes.
Yeah, which was his sword, Atheril's sword.
Yeah, gold, something with a G.
Something, I can't remember. But I remembered when they first found the sword in the cave. I was like,
yeah.
Why?
Oh, but Rowan knew what it was and put it there for her to find.
Yes. So it was like, I liked, when I read that scene, I was thinking about how you talked about how she's really good at planting these little Easter eggs, and you're like, why is this here? But then it's explained into this bigger thing later on.
Yes.
So I like that. Oh. I really like this one. The Croken Cloak.
Oh, yes, why she wears the blood red cloak. Yes.
I did not know. The scene when the grandmother says, "Do you want a new cloak for winning the championship?" I was like, what kind of lame ass gift is that? That's what I was, a cloak? Really? For a witch? For winning and killing it? Okay, well, she didn't kill anybody, but for winning the whole, like,
the war games.
And then they threw out the Croken Witch in front of her. And then when the grandmother said, "Kill her and take your cloak," I was like, well, damn, is she gonna take the cloak off the bunny? But then I was like, that doesn't make sense. The witch is the cloak. So they take the skin off the Croken witches and
No, they take her actual cloak.
No?
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Did I read too much into that?
Yeah, no, it's each Croken witch has their own red cloak. And so she kills them to take their cloak off them.
I thought, oh my God, you lied.
Come on.
Hold on. Then that defeats the whole thing. I had a whole theory for why this happened. I thought that's why these.
Wait, hold on. Unless maybe I missed that whole thing. But hold on. Oh no, yeah. Okay, it says the burns did not give away what she was, and then the blood-reded cloak that she wore. Yeah, they each have a red cloak, and so she kills them to take it. But that scene is important for later on as well, but not for the reasons that you're thinking.
I don't like that. I liked what I thought better.
You thought like they would like skin them and turn the cloak?
Not like skin them, but like take their image. Because so basically, from what I had read before in the previous books, was that the demons and the fays mated to get.
Yeah, so she had witches. She had no choice but to take the Croken's cloak to dump her old one. But before, when it says they brought her out, it says she was wearing the cloak. Yeah, the blood-reded cloak she wore.
I thought so. This is what I thought, guys. My blunder, which I don't think is a bad little plot twist that could have been in there. So remember the whole explanation, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the Fae and the demons mated to get the witches. I saw that in book 1 somewhere.
Mated to what?
Get the witches. Like that was the history or the theory. Not necessarily fact, but that's what people would talk about. That's how the witches came about. Okay. And that some of the witches retained the demon traits, and some of the other witches retained more of the Fae traits.
Yes.
And so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so the Faes, I was thinking in this book when they said take your cloak, I was thinking the cloak, like the body, the face, whatever. Yeah. Because the Faes would be more beautiful.
That's an interesting theory, but no, it's an actual cape. It's an actual red cape.
Then it's lame. I'm gonna put that in my least favorite scene.
That scene is, like I said, that scene is going to turn out to be a plot twist later.
I don't give a shit anymore. I really thought the Croken witches were like the Fae ones with all this beauty, and then the other witches, like the Black Beak and the Yellow Legs people, were just mad ugly. And then the reason they've been pretty is because they were stealing the cloaks, the skin cloaks, the Croken witches.
That's really interesting, but
the Croken cloak.
No, it's just an actual cloak. That's their symbol, and she takes it to like reclaim their symbol to prove that she's murdered them. But that's why like the rest of the witches don't like it, because they're like, that's our enemy symbol. Like, why would you wear it? It's iconic. It's her red cloak. Any picture you see of Manon, she's always wearing her red cloak. And it's important.
Lame.
Trust. Later we're gonna have a conversation after one of the books where you're gonna find out why this is important and why the red cloak is important later too.
Well, if my opinion changes, clip this onto that video.
Yes.
Lame. Wow, what a disappointment. Okay, well, next. So I have Keely the Wyvern, her dad.
Yes.
I think it was beautifully written. You said yes, like yes. So why did you like it?
Because I showed her bond with with her wiring as well. And I think Menon also saw that, and she was like, in that, I think like there's a scene too where, I think her name's Petra, right?
Yes, Petra.
Yeah, Petra says something, and then Menon's like, they can't hear you, like they don't talk, and she's like, but don't they? And yeah, like showing like, oh, like I have such a good relationship, and like Menon had already thought like, oh yes, he also talks to me too, but like she like kind of was like, oh, I don't know, like maybe I'm just making things up. And then it also, I think that whole scene also showed the change in Manon, because I feel like before she never would have saved her. She would have been like, oh, there's another heir dead, who cares?
Yeah.
But like I think she says, she's like, oh, that cry like was the same cry, like the scream, something. She's like something about the scream
the
moved
mother
her.
Scream. She'd never heard a mother scream.
Like that.
Yeah.
So like that moved her, and she decided to save her life, and she really felt for the death of because I think she like would imagine like Abraxas dying. So
yeah. So you basically explained those are all the reasons why I liked the scene. I have nothing to add to that. It was sorry. So sorry, we need to back up one more. I mentioned the Abraxas scenes that I like, but I didn't mention the one that was my favorite, which is when Abraxas takes flight into the crossing, and then you have all the big beasts below beating their wings in that tombstone thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it was like
wow, that would make a really good scene, like as a movie.
Yes, all the beats below were like
cheer him on, be like, yeah, you made it out from the underdogs.
That was amazing. And then the blue bloods and witches and the black beaks started doing it too with the bait beast, and I loved that scene. I was like, wow, what a come up. You go Abraxas.
Because he became the wing leader too. It's not just like he wasn't just like one of the like he was he's the wyvern for the wing leader. Like he's the one leading. He's the one leading. Beast. Yes. He's a king.
The king of the wyverns.
Oh, what a king.
Okay. Then the next one that I liked was the Sorsha reveal.
What?
I can't pronounce that girl name. S-O-R-S.
Oh, Sorsha.
Sorsha? Yeah.
I think. Yes, the healer.
Yes, the healer. Yeah. Sorsha the healer. Her reveal on page 547. Why did I like that?
That she was the spy?
Yeah, I suspected that something was up with her when I was reading it. I didn't think she was just a healer who was invisible. And
I never really liked her, to be honest.
So I guess you didn't care when she died?
Not really. Like, I cared because the scene was obviously very impactful to, like, Dorian, obviously, and Kale. And
tell them how you really feel, Tori.
Also, I don't know, like, I really don't remember how I felt the very first time I read it, but since I finished the series, I'm just like, I'm like, eh.
So she's just a speck of
I'm like, okay, move on.
Well, I liked her reveal, and I liked that.
Actually, I do think, I mean, like, they were kind of cute together, and I did like when Kale says, like, this kingdom can use a healer as a queen.
Yeah, that was so sweet. And then she dies. I liked the scene where she dies. That sounds so
that whole scene,
morbid, but it was just a beautifully written scene.
I do like that scene too.
He begged. Dorian went on his knees and begged the king, please, I'll do anything.
He sacrificed his pride and
Yeah, and then the king was like, no.
And Kale too, and Aiden, they all stepped up to try to help.
Yeah,
which they all stepped up. It didn't work. It went bad. Really, it went real bad for them. Bad.
Aiden got imprisoned.
Yes.
Dorian is now freaking evil with an amulet. Kale had to run away. Can't go back home. He's now a traitor, a liar, and something.
Yeah.
So it didn't end.
It went bad. But I appreciate the effort. They all stepped up and they all tried to save her.
Yeah, same. Well, yeah, and then I have the King's Trap, which is pretty much what we just talked about. Yes. I like when it said that
like he didn't have any proof, nothing. There was all a plan to suss them out.
Actually, I did read that, but then I read this line and I was wondering if the king. Well, yeah, he didn't have any proof. He did suss them out.
He suspected.
Yeah.
obviously, like, he wasn't just like, oh, let me just test him out for no reason. Like, he
that's what I was trying to say.
He like, yeah, like, part of it, like, he knew, but it wasn't like 100% confirmed. Like, he wanted to get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
Like he said in front of all the witnesses.
Yeah, in front of everybody. I'm glad you said it all. Yeah. And the line that I liked was, he knew that this had been a trap. He being Dorian. One for Aedion, Aileen, and one for Sorsha, and this one to draw out Dorian's power.
Oh yes, I forgot that was it wasn't only to get Aedion and the rebels. It was also because he knew he had powers.
And I didn't know that. I was like, that was beautifully written. And to be honest, when I got to the end of the scene with Selena and Rowan.
I need to write some notes for myself, because later when other stuff is revealed, I don't need to come back to this conversation.
So you're okay. Make the notes. But I'll talk to you guys for right now. I liked the scene. I thought after the scene with Selena and Rowan, after they fought, I think his name was Narrows. I can't remember. Those demon people the king were creating, the princes from the dark world, after she fought and defeated them, I thought that was the end of the book. But then it just kept giving. Reveal after reveal after reveal. That's why it's a bunch of greens back here. I was like, wow, this is amazing. You go, Sarah. You go, Sarah J. Maas. You killed it with this book. But yeah, I already talked about this. Doran's magic reveal to the king was another scene I really liked, when he just froze the entire palace and he like slapped the king with ice. I was like, well, damn, Dorian. Tell us how you really feel. He really finally stood up. He just went, bah! The king got up. Okay, yeah, I really like that scene. Then what?
What I do really like about this book is Aelin's journey, because I feel like she does change a lot.
Who?
Aelin, Selena.
Oh, right. Yes. That lady has so many names, but
Aelin, Selena, yes.
And the other name?
Elentia.
Yeah, that.
That's the name that the Nehemia gave her, which was like one who will not give up or something like that.
Anyways, what about her character growth?
Well, I feel like this whole book is about her, because, like, obviously the trauma of her past, she kind of wants to block it away, and she wanted nothing to do with it, which is why she hates being called Aelin at the beginning. But from now on, you'll see she's only called Aelin.
Really? No more Selena?
No, unless like somebody who knew her from before like calls her Selena.
So
that's why I like this book, because it's Rowan beats it into her that like you have to accept who you are, and she was afraid of her powers, and then it's all this. I feel like this book that's why it's called like Heir, like her trying to accept that she has powers. It's part of her, and yeah, she needs to reclaim her own kingdom too. Oh, because I do like that. Yeah, like when Rowan's like, oh, you would sacrifice everything for somebody else's people, but your own, you're going to ignore them. Like, you're willing to just, let them starve and be beaten. But, like, yeah, like, and he's like, your people would be upset, like, oh, yeah, she's off saving all these other people, but what about her own people?
Yeah, I would have been salty. Like, oh, that's how you really feel?
Yeah, like, literally, about your own, help
I'm
your
a
own
slave,
people.
But you're going to free them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, I do like, oh, wow,
like
that whole character, yeah. You didn't?
It was okay. I think I shouldn't do it like that. I think when I read books, I tend to like the little nuggets of the minor characters sometimes more than I do the major characters. Okay. So even though I did enjoy it, I think that was the natural arc that I would have expected to happen. It was beautifully written, but it's the natural arc. She had to at some point.
Yeah, it was necessary.
So it was like meant for me, but I liked the writing, and I get why you would like it. So cool. I guess that will wrap up the favorite scenes officially this time. Okay. So now we're gonna go into my least favorite moments, and I'm going to start with Rowan. Me can't pronounce his name, and I don't care. Rowan. Me don't like him. I do not.
Really? Actually, no. Hold on. I will say, in this book, I didn't like him. He grows on you.
I'm glad you said that now, because if we go back, so a couple episodes ago, Tori told me that she was going to meet her person in book 3. Selena was going to meet her person in book 3, and that she loves that person for her.
Yes.
I was like, Tori got some issues she got to work on. What do you mean Rowan is great?
No.
Let's read some scenes, shall we? Shall we read who is great?
I was thinking as I was reading it, I was like, I don't think she's going to like him. As I was rereading it, I was like, yeah, this is problematic. She's not going to like him.
Rowan, you are correct. To Selena, while she's already sad and shit, he says,
he kicked a down dog.
You're worthless. And then she said, tell me something I don't know. And he went on to say, you would probably have been more useful to the world if you had actually died 10 years ago. She's good for him. Sorry, he's good for her.
He is. Just wait.
Then, there's one more. There's another scene. Where is it? You thought that was bad, guys. It gets worse. Rowan, this is when Selena snuck up to his room and brought Rowan and his friend food.
Yes.
She was snooping, but still she brought them food. And then she says to him, if you'd said something, I never would have come. I'm sorry I did, but you just left me downstairs. And then saying those words like made her get emotional, and she was just like, you left me. And then she whispered, I have no one left, no one. Rowan, then she said she hadn't realized how much she meant it, how much she needed it not to be true until now. Rowan, the one who's good for her.
He is.
Says, there's nothing that I can give you, nothing I want to give you. You are not owed an explanation for what I do outside of training. I don't care what you have been through or what you have done with your life. The sooner you can sort out your whining and self-pity, the sooner I can be rid of you. You are nothing to me, and I do not care.
It's harsh, I know. But trust me, I feel like they both, which also what I do like about this book is I feel like they both had a lot of stuff to work through, because at one point he does tell her, like, he's in the same boat as her. He just doesn't.
His wife died hundreds of years ago. Shut up.
Hold on. No, that's actually really important later on. Hold on. I feel like everything is important later on. What was I going to say?
Sorry, I got very emotional.
Hold on. Oh my God, I was going to say. Oh, no, because they're both in the same boat. Just like he lashed out at her after that, and he explains it, wait, because then she goes and lashes out and says really hurtful stuff to the other people too, Luca or whatever, all this stuff. So both of them, I feel like at that point they were too similar and they were going through too much as well, both of them, and like you'll find out later. And which is why like I like there is like one scene where he's like, hey, like we both, like he's like, why don't we do this together? Like we both, there's like a time, like there's a scene where he talks about it and he's like, we both have stuff, like why don't we fight towards the light together? And so it's good.
You have not convinced.
You have to keep reading.
I will. I will definitely read the next book. You have not convinced me. I am sorry.
Well, I can't give spoilers, so you're just gonna have. So it's okay. You can hate him now. Just keep reading.
But yeah, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, how is Sarah gonna have him come back from this? As in from these hurtful things he said to her. And you're right. Selena did say hurtful things to other people as well. But
also, I feel like she never really apologizes for that.
No, she did.
Did she?
She did apologize to Lucas and all of them. She went on her knees actually.
All right.
And apologized. And Rowan never apologized once.
Are you sure?
To yes, Selena, and then she was just like in her mind, as like when we're reading from her perspective, she didn't need it. He didn't apologize, and she didn't need him to. I did. I needed him to. I wish I had highlighted that part so I could pull for the receipts. I'm sorry. I just, towards the ending, when he gave that pitiful story about his wife being murdered or whatever, and then like hundreds of years ago, and take as an excuse to be mean to everyone, this level of mean?
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was using that as an excuse. First of all, Maeve.
Okay.
Hold on. I can't. Okay, we can't. We're gonna have to table this discussion because I'm gonna give spoilers.
Okay, we'll say this. I will say this.
You're just. I get, and I'm like, it's fine. I thought, like I said, when I was reading this, I was like, wow, like they really did hate each other, and he was kind of an ass, at the beginning. But there's just so much you don't know yet that will complete the story. It'll make sense. That's what I mean. Like when you go back, like rereading is so different too, because that's two of the things that I put. Like it just. it just changes the context. You're missing context.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense. We will see.
It's like walking into a scene and not knowing everything that led up to it, and not and everything else, and then so you're just judging based on what you saw.
And I'm judging
based off without having the rest of the whole story.
Okay, that's fair. I will say this. Towards the ending, when I saw how that this man is pretty much enslaved to Maeve, I did find myself a bit more lenient to him.
Yeah.
I was like, I get why maybe he was lashing out, because this man, Maeve can tell him to kill himself, he has to do it. Maeve says, tell him to stand, he has to stand. I didn't realize Maeve was in that much control of him, and I didn't realize that Maeve was evil. So then I was thinking to myself, I didn't know if this was the reasoning, but the only thing I could think of, you tell me I'm going to get more info, but for this book, all I could think of was that if he was mean to Selena, if he was nice to Selena, he'd have to tell Maeve, and then Maeve would probably get mad. That's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe that's why you were mean, and then after that, you said to hell with the consequences. I don't know.
Yeah, part of that reason is he didn't want to get close. Just that's why he tells her don't tell me what you just figured out, because it's going to be used against you. So I think he didn't want to be used against her, which is why also he never requests aid for when they're being attacked, because he's like, if she found out, she'd send me away, and then I wouldn't be able to help. And then also, you'll find out more about them, but his group, the people that come, two of them are also not the best people. So he's not surrounded by good people. So he doesn't have.
I got that impression. I thought it was one of them.
One of them that's not nice.
Yeah, probably not the best.
Yeah, there's one in particular.
It's hinted at, I think.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is, he doesn't have good friends. He doesn't know, he doesn't really, he's not surrounded by good people that he'd have good examples or something to base off,
Dang, you've been around for that long.
So
that long? Excuse me. And you ain't learned nothing? Well, I guess now you're learning. I will say, I get the reason why he did it, but the fact that Rowan went from being enslaved by the queen
to going with her,
going enslaved.
But he's not really.
I know, but he just free the slave, and the slave is like, "No, master, take me."
Yeah,
be free. But I get the why.
Yeah, but she says right after, she's like, he takes, what she says something. She's like, he takes the word loyalty or something. He must have a different definition, because he's been bossing me around.
Yeah, I did see that. I like that scene.
Yeah,
I like that scene.
So it's not really she can't tell him kill yourself and he'd kill himself. It wouldn't work like that for them.
Okay.
It's not okay.
Oh, because Maeve probably had more detailed stuff in her oath pack.
Yes, that level of control is different. Yeah, no, okay. She can't order him to do it. He'll be like, no, piss off.
Okay, sweet. Okay. I like that. Thanks for that clarification. So the other least favorite moments that I had was the everyone is handsome trope. Page 68. Well, in book 1, we already got a description of Dorian being so beautiful and pretty, Ko being handsome and whatever. We get to Aiden, and this is a guy describing him who doesn't have a crush on him or anything. It's just the description of Aiden. Handsome was a light way of describing what Aiden was. Overwhelming was more like it. Towering and heavily muscled. Why is everybody handsome? And this is not someone with a crush. They're just handsome. Even the witches are beautiful. The monsters are beautiful. The spiders are beautiful. Everybody's beautiful. Where are the ugly creatures? I'm sorry. I literally have the pages. Page 68, page 92, page 131.
I hadn't noticed that, but that is true.
Page 207, page 229, page 273, page 323. Actually, stopped. I stopped writing them down because of how many things were handsome. Let me see. What am I forgetting? It wasn't just. Let me see. It was Dorian handsome, Selena and pretty, Marlon pretty. All the goddamn witches are pretty. I
get why the witches are pretty. The witches are supposed to be kind of not seductress, but supposed to be this otherworldly creatures that are deadly and beautiful. Still. But everything else, like, why would the spiders need to be beautiful?
Spiders are beautiful. The oh my god, why can't I remember it? There was this other creature. Oh, the princes were beautiful.
Oh, the Valak princes, yeah.
Why?
I hadn't noticed, but that is true. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, it drove me nuts.
She just, I guess, really hates ugly people.
I guess so.
She was like, not in my book.
Not in my book at all. I was like, all the creatures, the spider, everybody. I wish I could remember the other creatures. But everybody was just beautiful. Like, all right, buddy. Anyways. And like the reason I brought up the that it wasn't like the guy who was describing Alien had a crush on
guys don't think about guys that way. They'd just be like, oh yeah, there was a dude there.
Yeah, oh, there was a dude. If you're a straight dude, you're like, oh, it was a dude. If he was gay, then I get it. But this is somebody who was like crushing on him. It was just some.
I think that she just needed to find a way, because obviously, like, there was no women. She wasn't writing from any women's perspectives when he comes into play. I will say, like, he did need to note the eyes because it's the same eyes as aliens.
Yeah. Well, he could have been ugly, buddy. He could have just been ugly with yellow eyes.
Or maybe he was describing him as beautiful because he said that he looks just like Aylin's twin, and he finds Aylin beautiful.
I guess.
That's the only explanation.
We'll go with that.
But I'm grasping at straws here.
So yeah, that was a handsome trope. I call it a handsome trope.
Yeah.
Damn spider. Anyways. The other least favorite scene, I'm still like, would be, oh my god. On pages 55 and 64, she kept mentioning that Rowan and Selena were related, and then having them flirt, and then having them say, let's go visit our aunt.
Yeah, but aunt is a loose word. Like, they're not, I know, but it is weird.
It is so weird. See, where is it? I'm gonna read this page. I'm reading this page.
No, I do remember the scene where she's like, let's go visit our aunt.
Y'all be flirting.
Yeah.
Is this Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones is everybody with everybody. But no, like, they're like very distant, like distant relations.
The book says it too, but
it's towards the front, like when they're like meet May for the first time, and she
she said he's my nephew of sorts and a member of my household.
Yeah, see, nephew of sorts, like he's not like her direct nephew.
Why say it?
Yeah.
An extremely distant relation of yours. There's some ancient ancestry. So you're just telling me I'm sorry. I was reading it and I'm like, so they're related.
Yeah.
But then now you want me to witness them flirting. Then she says, we're related, you know. Every time I started forgetting it, she'd bring it up. Like, we're related, you know. And then flirt. What?
I think it comes into play later on, but this part, I'm actually, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to sneeze. I think it's related, like, important later on, but I don't remember how exactly.
We'll see. I wasn't a fan. I was like, couldn't we just have them, like, both be fair and not related, just and be linked, like, in some way without it? Anyways, but I digress. Then the last one, actually, I didn't like the enemies to friend trope. It was too sudden for me to buy it in this book.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, they go pretty fast.
They went from, I fucking hate you and you are nothing, to me. So let's do this together.
Well, no,
seconds.
I think she cut from it, but I think there is some time jump, because I will say I don't think she handled the timing, like making it clear how much time has passed since she was over there and stuff. Because I do like that after he realized, like, after that whole, I forget what it is, but like it is kind of slow, where he starts being subtly nice to her, and like they go on those trips together, and like there's like one scene where she's like outside crying, and he comes in and sits down next to her.
Only because
they pointed out that he was
cussed him out that he was being cruel. It was at that point.
Yeah, but I don't because I don't think he realized. Because that's what I'm saying, like, he was so much in his own, like, I have my own problems. I don't think he realized, oh, I'm kicking someone who's down and also has her own problems. Because like he already explained too, or like they've explained that he thought, oh, she's just been in hiding for 10 years. Like, she's some spoiled little princess who's now coming to be like, hey, you have to, and you have to admit, Selena's ego is way up her head's up so far up her ass. So he thought, oh, this stupid spoiled little princess, like, I've been through so much, like, all this stuff, and he didn't realize, hey, maybe she has too, and all this stuff. Like, he needed somebody to call him out on his BS. So I will admit it could have been handled better in this book, but just keep reading, you'll see it's different. So
I think maybe when I have the hindsight bias that you have currently, when I read the other books, I'm like, oh my god, Rowan, amazing. But right now,
I don't think I've ever been like. There are some people who are like that. They're like, oh my god, he's like the best man to have ever walked on earth. Not that he's walked on earth because he's fictional. Like, I really like him, and I really like their relationship because I feel like it's very low key. And it's not one of those, like, it's not like, you read A Court of Thunder and Roses, like, Farron, like, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's like this whole big grand thing. He's just like, she knows that, like, no matter what, he's always there to support her. And it's just, I really like it. You'll see.
No spoilers.
So,
on to the next segment, which is favorite characters. So, what are your favorite characters? And, like, a quick reason as to why.
Okay. Well, Dorian's still one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, we know.
Manon.
I have her. Why for Manon? Manon, sorry.
Manon. I'm trying to distinguish because some, also I want to say, like, in this book without, like, bringing in my knowledge from other books. Okay. But like I said from this book, like, I really do like how she has such big, like, I feel like big character growth in such a short time. But, like, as opposed to when we were talking about, like, Selena, Aelin and Rowan's relationship, that it was fast. Like, for her, it makes sense. Like, it wasn't like, oh, she just all of a sudden changed overnight.
Yeah, it was it was well done and subtle.
Yeah, actually,
and impactful.
Yeah, impactful. So her,
I agree with that, and I agree with the reasoning.
Abraxas
is on here for me for all the reasons and scenes we stated before. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's I just like a lot of characters. So maybe not necessarily favorite characters, but I do really like Luca, the kid at the fort. He was cute.
Maybe I don't have a heart.
I mean, he's not like super like in the story. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's just like, I like him. Cute.
Meh. Meh for me.
Yeah, and then I don't think anybody else that's really in the story. Like, super.
I have one more. So I have everything you said.
Yeah.
And then I have one more. It's the little folk. I just like them. Yeah. I like that they come in and they're the little folk. We never really see them so far.
Yeah.
Don't tell me if we ever do. I don't want to know. Okay. Yeah, we never really see them. But they're like there watching Selena and helping, and I like that. I just like those. No, scenes.
I do too.
Yeah. Cute. My least favorite character in this book was actually Rowan.
I don't argue with you on that.
And then I had a question for you before I get into the next segment. Do you think Kale is a good captain of the guard?
No.
He's terrible. He keeps getting kidnapped.
But that's what I was saying when we were talking about, like, he's captain of the guard and, like, he hasn't had to deal with, like, killing people before or, like, any of that stuff. I don't know why she made him captain of the guard because he's not really, like, he doesn't ever really do anything as captain of the guard.
He doesn't. He just guards their events.
Yeah.
He's a glorified bodyguard. Yeah. Maybe that's what a captain of a guard is in this book. I don't know.
I just think it's supposed to be, like, a general, like, in charge of, like, the troops, like, the guard, and, like, coordinating and training.
He just guards events. Paige, I think I wrote down the pages and I put LOL. Like, he got kidnapped again. They just nabbed him. Like, it was nothing. But anyways, so I'll just fly through these next two segments, which is things I'd really like her to explore more, and then I'm going to talk about the predictions that I have for the next book.
Okay.
The things I'd like her to explore more are the little folk. I want to find out more about them. I want to know more about the origin of the witches and what started the war. I want to know more about, like
the witches' war, you mean?
Yeah. Like
what led them to, like, the waste being cursed? Okay.
Yeah, to the waste being cursed. Why do they hate each other so much? I want to know all of that. Bring back Mort.
Oh, yeah. Like, they mentioned him in passing. I wish I was reading. I was like, they mentioned him in passing, but he never comes back to life again.
Bring back Mort. Anyway, sorry.
On the witches, that's what I was saying. Like, you can't listen to the song yet, but that's what the song is called, the Song of the Witch Kingdom that girl did. I told you not to listen to. It's about all that.
I won't listen. I won't listen to it. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. I really want to hear the king's origin story. I want to know, how did this man come to be so powerful and dark? But you said she's not gonna give me that much, but
not that much, but she does like a little bit more than we've planned so far.
Okay. All right, my predictions for the next book. Manon and the Blue Blood here, Heir. I think I knew reading the book, I knew like something was gonna happen between them where they were gonna save each other or whatever. But I think that was pretty obvious to most people. But I think it's gonna blossom to either a really good friendship in the oncoming books or more or something more. I'm not sure, but that's my prediction. Manon will become friends with a Crocan witch, or she's going to broker peace between the two witch races or something. That's what I'm thinking. And then lastly, I think we're gonna get some more, which is also pretty obvious, more insight into a Robin as to why he beat the crap out of Selena. Or like really he beat Aelin out of Selena, for being honest. I feel like he knew, and he's probably been keeping that ring safe, the amulet safe this whole time. The necklace, sorry. Safe this whole time. Because why hasn't he been using it to do stuff? Why hasn't the world, like, since they're so powerful, why hasn't he done anything with it? Which makes me think he knew all along. He beat the crap out of her to help her.
Okay, so you think he's like secretly a good guy?
No, I think he's an amoral character.
Okay.
I don't think he's neither good or really bad, but he recognizes that the word key is really bad for everyone in the wrong hands. And so he knew her identity, blah, 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 probably knew what the king was going to do, and that was his role in helping them survive a little bit longer. He was like, even if magic doesn't come back, you're going to know how to fight, bitch. Sorry, I didn't mean to correct. But you're going to know how to fight. So, yeah. That's it. That's it for my predictions, and you can't say anything. And you need to remember them.
Yes.
But I have them written down.
So yeah, I was going to say, just bring this up next time.
Okay. And then that's that segment, which means we can go into...
Okay, I was like, I'm really excited for you to read the next books because even though like I said, like this is where I feel like it starts to get good. The next 3 books are my favorite. So it's Queen of Shadow, Empire of Storms, and Kingdom of Ash.
I'm excited because you did build this book up.
Yeah.
And as I said, part 1, I was like, Tori, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, part 2? Yeah, that's why I started to reread it and I was like, yeah, no, it's at the later half. And that's why I told you I skimmed like the first half and I was able to read it. Like, I was like, I already know all this stuff, not really interested in skipping it.
That's fair. I'd probably do the same.
And also I was kind of worried when we had talked and you hadn't finished it yet, and I was like, she hasn't gotten to the good part yet.
Nah, I was determined to finish it by our meeting. Because we had agreed that I could probably read half. I was like, I don't want to have a discussion about half the book.
Yeah, and I was like, and the first half was not even that good, so I was like, I was worried really that you were going to come back and you were like, Tori, I didn't even like that you hyped it up or whatever. I was like, no, she needs to get to the end.
And I did. At 1 o'clock, 12:30 a.m. last night, I finished it. And it was worth it. I wanted to go to bed, but I couldn't. I had to just keep turning the page. I ignored my partner. He was on the phone, and I ignored him. I was like, babe, he's like, it's okay, I understand. And he just stayed there while I read. I'm like,
I love that. Oh, I love that. The companionable silence. Like, he's there, but letting you read in silence. Yeah. I love that. You're a good man.
You are. Yeah. He just, yeah. And he fell asleep. I was still reading the book. I was like, babe, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's okay.
Aw.
Yeah. So good job, Sarah J. Maas. You roped me in and kept me. Okay. Now for the next segment, which is the game. We're going to play the quote game. You're going to tell me who said it. I'm going to name my favorite quotes out of the book, and you're going to tell me who said it or like from whose perspective it was said in. You touch him again, and I'll drink the marrow from your bones.
That's Manon, and it's to the people. She's talking about her Abraxas. She's like, if you touch him again, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Those unspoken shouting matches.
Is that the quote?
It was written from a character's perspective. So it's not something that was said, but it was just written from their perspective.
Unspoken shouting matches?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I think of is the conversations that Aelin and Rowan had without speaking.
It was. Yeah,
Which I do like that about their relation, like that they have those conversations, like without talking.
I found it corny at first.
A little.
At first, and then it grew on me. Yeah. Okay. And just like that, his father fed him to the wolf.
It's about Dorian
and why was he saying that?
Is it when he has to go? He says, "Go take care of Adian or whatever." Like,
yeah,
you have to go take him for a walk.
Yeah, the wolf. Yeah, exactly.
The wolf of the north, right?
Yeah, that's his name.
Which I do like all that. Like from actually talking about like fear. So it's like I do like that from his perspective. He can. I think I both like it and don't like it about Aiden.
What?
Adian, that he was like. He's like, oh yeah, like, oh, I was such a horrible person. Like, I wonder what she's gonna think of me, and like, oh yeah, I had to like whore myself out type thing, you know, to keep
a Darlin's whore.
Yeah, Darlin's whore. Yeah, that he had to do all this stuff, and people think he's such a traitor to the kingdom because he turned like belly up, so to speak, for like.
Belly up is crazy. Well, she was a traitor too. Y'all will be fine.
Yeah, so that's what he tells himself, but like, well, you'll see, like.
We'll see. Oh, I'll see what happens when they meet. Don't say.
No, like you'll just see like the progression of the characters.
Okay, and then the last one, which was one of my favorites, it was the old man slid into it. So Ren pulls a chair out for his granddad to sit, and the sentence is, the old man slid into it with a small groan. It was a miracle the bag of bones was still breathing.
I don't have to guess because you just said who said it, but you're like where it's from. But yeah.
Who?
You said I had to guess like where it was from, but you just told me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there was Ren, and it's his grandfather Murtagh.
Yes, but who said it? Who? From whose perspective? Who thought it?
Aiden.
Yeah, it was Aiden.
How do you pronounce his name?
I don't know. Aiden. Yeah, I laughed when he said bag of bones was still breathing. I was like, damn.
He's fighting for his country.
Mm-hmm.
He wants it back.
Sure.
He was like a lord. They were one of the powerful lords. They owned the. That's why he says like we're far from the castles of Allsburg. Like they used to have like a lot of lands and like an estate.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they lost it all.
They lost it all, and now they're homeless.
And his sister too.
They were murked. Okay, last quote. From now until the darkness cleaves us apart.
Yes. It's the 13.
You're mine and I am yours. Yes, let's show them why. Dang, I didn't even get the words out.
I love that quote too.
It's a nice quote. I highlighted it. It was a nice quote.
That's their motto. They're saying, from now until darkness claims us, we are the 13.
I do like this one. It's not like a quote.
Favorite characters, like you don't get to like know like too much about the individual people, but I love Manon's relationship with her 13.
Oh, okay. Her second and her third, and then the rest.
Astrid.
And I can't remember this. We can't remember the other person.
Sorfa or something like that. Yeah.
And this is the quote I will use. It's not that big, but it's the conqueror of Aurelia reached for a platter of smoked fish. Why did I like that quote or that sentence? Because it just showed this very big, evil, intimidating man doing something as mundane as just getting some smoked fish. And I just think it was just a well-written sentence that just encapsulated him as a person. He's still human. He can be killed. Yeah, and that was it for me.
I'm so excited for the next video.
Yeah, you need to come with a game and surprise me.
Yes.
All right, well, that was it for this week's video. Please like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. And just, follow us.
It's getting good now. So stay tuned for the next, the next couple books.
Yeah. So. All right. That's it, y'all. Bye.